have to say I was very upset this morning when I got up and found out that the Scottish independent vote had gone for a no. And then as I looked at what the results actually were, understanding began to dawn. It's been known for a long time that these votes are quite easily rigged. All you need to do is have a close call and there's a recount, and the recount process is very easy to rig, whereas the actual vote process itself isn't. And in several areas there were recounts because it was very, very close. So this kind of tells me that interests outside Scotland have had a big hand in this vote. Now, what lies in store for Scotland after this vote is quite another thing. Now, there were various promises made by Mr. Cameron. Will they be fulfilled? I don't know. But even if they are fulfilled, Scotland now has a huge problem. That problem is that most of the richest people in the world, it has caused them to lose billions. Why is that? Well, because the pound dropped. The pound in fact dropped like a stone until 2 days before this referendum, when it started to recover. Now, there's been a number of people who've gone around and said, oh well, you know, it's people investing in the pound because they're gambling on whether the referendum's going to go one way or the other. No. What it is the really big currency interests, the banks, and don't forget these people control billions and billions of pounds. They actually knew 2 days before the referendum what the result was going to be, and they acted on that knowledge. The same as before 9/11, there were a lot of people who knew exactly what was going to happen, and they made investments accordingly. And if you don't believe me on that, that is a complete fact. You can look it up everywhere. It's one of the things the 9/11 Commission were told not to actually investigate. Well, similarly with Scotland, people knew 2 days beforehand that the vote was going to go towards the noes. And it's gone towards the noes by a very slim minority, really. A very easy to fudge minority. And the problem for Scotland is, having really royally peed off these people, do they imagine that these people are going to forget? No, they're not. Unfortunately, I now see nothing but a downhill future for Scotland. It's not going to happen quickly. For the same reason that people who've got any sense, when they take in their revenge, they wait a couple of years or at least a few months before doing so. But businesses will disappear from Scotland, the Scottish economy will shrink, and the Scottish people will find they've got even less say over what goes on in Scotland. Basically, there will be a revenge reaction, whether it's stated publicly or, I would state, not. It's not going to be stated publicly. It's just going to happen. And it's a real shame, because the Scots could have made a real go of it. The Scots could have done what Iceland did. And if you want to know what Iceland did, just Google Icelandic recovery or something like that. Iceland are now one of the biggest and most booming economies in the world, having got rid of their national bank, having got rid of the international banks that caused all the problem in 2008. They're now doing exceptionally well, and everyone said they were going to fail. And what were people saying about Scotland before this referendum? Oh, Scotland's going to fail, the banks are going to withdraw their support. Well, damn the banks, kick them out. And I can see this going into a downward spiral now, because obviously once the revenge actions kick in, the Scots won't tolerate it. I know what Scots people are like. They're very rebellious, very rambunctious people, and we might have another Northern Ireland on our hands, except it will be Scotland and the border will be more difficult to police. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed listening to my point of view on the subject, and it's given you something to think about. Please like, subscribe and share. Thanks very much.